Decades have passed since the killing of Christy Mirack, and police have no suspects. But that's about to change. This is part 2 of Christy's story, and this is Deviant. The break in this case comes from a used water bottle he throws in the trash, and inside it is the one thing detectives have waited 25 years to find. Professionally, he goes by the name DJ Freeze. For decades, he works the Lancaster area, and locally he's pretty well known. He's a DJ, he's an entertainer. His real name is Raymond Charles Rowe. He's 49, with a medium build, light skin, brown eyes. In 1992, he's 24 and lives just a few miles from Christy Mirack's apartment. This is the man that Parabon NanoLabs and CC Moore identify as the likely match to the DNA found on and around Christy all those years ago. This is the biggest lead investigators have had since ever. The next step, they need to get a sample of his DNA to see if it's an actual match. But police don't want him to know that they're looking at him. Otherwise, he could get spooked and run and the investigation could be compromised. So undercover detectives are tasked with following him. Their job is to look for an opportunity to collect his DNA off something, anything. Their chance comes on May 31st, 2018. The undercovers tail Rowe to Spoketown Elementary School. He has a gig DJing there that day for a children's event. Afterwards, as he's packing up, Rowe throws away a plastic water bottle. Inside of it is a wad of chewing gum that he spit out. This is it. This is what police are waiting for. They take the bottle and fast-track it to the Pennsylvania State Police Crime Lab. They test it, and it's a match. Rowe's DNA matches the male DNA recovered from the crime scene in 1992. More than 25 years after Christy Mirack is murdered, investigators have their suspect. They bring the evidence to a judge who signs an arrest warrant. And then, on June 25th, 2018, Raymond Charles Rowe is arrested. He's charged with 9 crimes, including criminal homicide, rape, and aggravated assault. Rowe is in custody. Investigators have brought the investigation home. And now it's time for the court system to go to work. It's time to seek justice. The DNA match is irrefutable. And when Raymond Rowe walks into court, he knows it. As Rowe awaits trial, the legal dance between the prosecution and the defense begins. The prosecution lays out just how compelling this DNA evidence is. They say the statistical odds of it being a random match are astronomical, like take a 1 and put about 30 zeros in front of it. Those are the odds. The defense certainly recognizes that those numbers are pretty compelling. They confer with their client. If he pleads guilty, he avoids a trial and a possible death penalty case. If he continues to fight, well, his chances don't look that great. And so, on January 8th, 2019, he takes his lawyer's advice and pleads guilty. In court, he stands at a podium and apologizes to the Mirack family. He says something like, sorry for everything you had to go through, must have been horrible. Big grain of salt, right? And then the judge gives it all. He sentences Rowe to life without parole, plus an additional 60 to 120 years on top of that. Authorities say the case is legally closed. Christy's family receives the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's version of justice. And just in case there was any doubt about Rowe's guilt, afterwards, Rowe's own defense team publicly says he has told us that he did it. Rowe is away for life. It's over, right? Well, Rowe decides that maybe it's not. And he launches a new high-stakes gambit, an attempt to rewrite the narrative of the crime and to have key pieces of DNA evidence retested. Years after pleading guilty, Raymond Rowe suddenly has a new story, and it changes everything he once said. After being sentenced to forever plus 100 years, Rowe decides that he isn't happy with the way things turned out. And so, he begins filing post-conviction motions. He wants additional DNA testing on items from the case. In 2021, a hearing is scheduled, and it's here that his attempt to shape the story of the crime begins. He now claims that he knew Christy Mirack, that they met while he was working as a DJ, and because they had consensual sexual relations, of course his DNA was found at her apartment. This is news to everyone. Investigators, prosecutors, Christy's family, and friends. None of them can put the two of them together as a couple or in any way. Prosecutors and investigators maintain that Christy and Rowe never knew each other prior to the crime. The judge at the hearing agrees, and he says that this all just isn't believable. The judge at the hearing agrees, and he says that this is all just not believable. Rowe's request to have additional DNA testing done is denied. But in 2025, that changes. The law that governs this type of DNA testing in Pennsylvania has changed, and the Commonwealth Supreme Court vacates the lower court's denial. This means that Rowe gets another chance to file for that additional testing. As I sit here and talk to you today, that process is still underway. There's still a big question out there, though. It's probably the biggest question. It's the one everyone who experienced and investigated the loss of Christy Mirack wants to know. Why? To see the rest of the story and the other stories we're telling, make sure to hit follow. The case is legally over, but the question that matters most, the why, still has no answer. Can the question why even be answered? Let's take a look at the full picture as we know it. Investigators find no evidence, none, that Christy and Rowe ever encountered each other before that morning in December of 1992. Genetic genealogy based on the DNA recovered at the crime scene give investigators a name, Raymond Rowe. The DNA recovered from his chewing gum by undercover officers gives them a direct DNA match to the crime scene. And after police interviews, court appearances, and even an apparent direct admission to his own attorneys about his guilt, Rowe never gives a motive. So we don't have the big answer, just big questions. Here are some of mine. Why Christy Mirack? How is it that Rowe ends up walking through her door in the very small window of time between when the roommate leaves, 7 a.m., and when Christy usually leaves for work, 7:30? There's nothing that I've been able to find that says there's any evidence of forced entry. So, how did Rowe get in? Was the door unlocked? Did Christy open the door to him? That window of time is just so small, right? To me, and I'm just inferring here based on available facts, I think he may have been watching her. And if he knows that his window is between 7 and 7:30, he must have been watching for a while. Could they actually have crossed paths somewhere? A public event? A random encounter? And if they did, perhaps that was a moment that came and went for Christy. She never thought about it again. But for Raymond Rowe, perhaps that moment lingers and grows into a darkness. One that leads him to Christy's door on that cold December morning. Only one person knows the truth. The why. And he's not talking. That's what I think happened. What do you think? How do the pieces fit together for you? Let me know on social or in the comments section. If you found this story interesting, please share it. And make sure to hit that subscribe button and set alerts so you never miss a new story. Thanks for watching.